Batch 2025, it's time to kick off your marathon journey. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bull Circle 1. We've been seeing your chats over at the Q&A box, but before we begin, just a few housekeeping announcements. This session is being recorded and will be emailed to all participants. Use the Q&A button for any questions. Kathy from our team will be manning this. And during the session, we have special prizes from TBR, Runner, and Adidas. So stick around until the end. Of course, before we begin our Bull Circle tonight, we would like to thank our generous sponsors for TBR InLife Dream Marathon 2025. We would like to thank our sponsors. Of course, our title sponsor is InLife. Our presenters are Gatorade and Philinvest City. Our timing partner is Garmin. Our official gear partner is Adidas. Our official nutrition partner is Nutrition Depot. Our official photographer is Photo Ops. Our official laboratory partner is Healthway Medical Network. Our regular sponsors, Toby Sports, Runner, Peak Form, Simple Hydration, T8, Racia, Vida Yoga, Midas Magnesium. Our official hotel partners are Crimson Hotel and Acacia Hotel. Our media partners, Pinoy Fitness, Race Day, SBR.ph. And of course, our beneficiary is Courage to Be Kind Foundation. All right, so now we will officially begin our Bull Circle. I would like to turn you over to our founder, USATF and RRCA running coach, NASM certified personal trainer, Abbott World Marathon Majors finisher, and of course, founder of TBR Dream Marathon, the bull runner herself, Coach Jamie Pizarro. Hi, Coach Jamie.
Hi, Chicky. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your first Bull Circle. I see all the claps there. Thank you, and we're all so happy to have you. Okay, let's share my slide.
Hold on.
So exciting to see all the dreamers right now. I see different emojis here. I'm just used to seeing claps and then someone's running and clapping. Yeah.
Sana may running emoji, no?
Meron actually. I've
Meron
been
ba?
seeing. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Ayun! May
One.
motorcycle pa.
Yeah,
Bawal
yeah.
yan.
Yeah, ang
Okay.
dami. Okay.
Love it. Fantastic. Okay, there's my slides. Welcome batch 2025. If you want to run, run a mile. If you want to experience a different life, run a marathon. If you want your first marathon to be done in a wholesome, positive atmosphere with like-minded people that eventually become your friends, in a safe environment devoid of judgment, with the guidance and support of expert coaches and generous volunteers, in a space where all runners are welcome, then you come to the right place. Batch 2025. Again, I officially welcome you to TBR InLife Dream Marathon. My name is Jamie Pizarro, the Bull Runner. I founded thebullrunner.com way back in 2007. Yes, I'm showing my age. And founded TBR Dream Marathon in 2010. This is the 14th TBR Dream Marathon, and we are now 77,000 TBR Dream alumni strong. You will be among them after you've crossed the finish line on February 16, 2025. This race is all about you, each one of you. Next slide, please. Before I share what we have in store for you in the next 5 months, allow me to share the story of how TBR was born. I want to start your journey here because to truly understand the essence of TBR Dream Marathon and its magic, you have to know where it came from. In 2006, at the age of 30, that's me with my actual first treadmill that I ever used. I was a young mom to my two toddlers. Now they're 20 and 23 years old. Life revolved around caring for the family at that time. I was very comfortable. Life was simple and safe. I lived within my comfort zone. While I was happy, I also lost my identity. I was slightly overweight and unhealthy, meaning I would just really starve myself to stay thin. One day, I downloaded a couch to 5K program. I followed it to the letter, and within 2 months, I could run for 30 minutes straight. That was a huge feat for me. I had never been athletic in my entire life. I fell madly, deeply in love with running, but not like the running boom that you see today, where everyone is running on the streets. There were no blogs, maybe from abroad, no websites on running either, no coaches I could find to guide me. So one day, during my birthday, on my dining table, I created a blog called The Bull Runner. It chronicled my journey as a runner, and I wanted it to become the online resource for running. In this blog, I wrote how running changed me because there was no one else to talk about running at that time. Running was no longer about weight loss, it was about finding myself, slowly, one step at a time. Suddenly, this shy, overweight, work at home mom had her own goals and had her own achievements outside of her family. I felt empowered with every finish line. I felt stronger with every training that I achieved. I felt free. I was happier. I felt like I was constantly pushing myself for a new goal, whether it was 5K and then 10K and then 21K. I was pushing myself to become a better athlete. And in doing that, I became a better mom, just a better person overall. So I went on to run many races, but at the back of my mind, I was always dreaming of a marathon, a 42K. It seemed like the impossible dream at that time. I signed up for one, then I got sidelined with injuries. Signed up for another one, got injured again. I was just super frustrated. I guess I just didn't know how to train for one at that time. I was also starving myself because my goal at the time was really to be stick thin. I didn't have a nutrition coach either. So next slide. My third attempt was Singapore Marathon. So I signed up for Singapore Marathon, and my last long run was going to be a 32K at the QC International Marathon. As it was a training run, I felt no pressure at the starting line. Started it with four or five of my friends. We ran it at a very easy pace. We even walked the uphills together. And you know how it is in QC, madaming uphills dyan. So it was very relaxed. We talked about life. We talked about tapsilog and everything under the sun. No pressure. It was just so much fun. Before I knew it, we were at 32K and still felt strong. So I added a few more kilometers to hit 35K instead. When I hit 35K, I still felt strong. I still had power in my legs. So I thought, 7K na lang. What if I just go for it? And I did. In the last 7K, it was really the community that gave me the energy and the strength to go on. I bumped into good friend Neville Manawis. At the time, he was the team principal of Pinoy Ultra Runners, and he paced me on his bike with his calm, soothing voice. The organizers had run out of hydration. There was no water on site. My friend Hector, who was standing on the side, had a cooler of Gatorade popsicles, and that's what he gave me. It was like manna from heaven. Friends from running clubs were on the sides of the course as well, and they gave me sips of water. Before I knew it, I was a marathoner. I kid you not, when I crossed the finish line, I felt changed forever. I thought if I could survive that kind of crap, all the difficulties, I could survive anything that life throws at me. By that evening, I knew deep down that I needed to get people to run a marathon. I was a blogger, and if I wrote about it, it's like it just wasn't the same. People had to experience it for themselves. That same week, I met Jim Lafferty. He was a stranger at the time, but we bonded over the love for marathons. We talked about all the marathons we ever ran and what we wanted to do. He was an experienced marathoner and president of P&G, who was known to train his employees for Milo Marathon at the time. So I told him I wanted to get people to run marathons and experience the magic of a marathon, just the way I did. Then I also told him, what if we could just get one person to run a marathon and see the ripple effect that it would have? If, like, for example, one person like me, little old, non-athletic me, could run a marathon and my friends and family could see the transformation in me, what if that could happen to hundreds of other runners? How wonderful could that be, right? In less than a month after I had crossed the finish line of my first marathon, Jim and I created TBRG Marathon. Next slide, please. TBRG Marathon was the dream race where everything a first-time marathoner would need would be provided. I did everything wrong with training, right? So TBR Dream offered running talks and running clinics led by experts and coaches. Its race director for the first marathon and all races until now, can you guess who it is? It's Neville Manawis, the one who paced me in my first marathon. He went on to become the race director of Ironman races now. We made sure to provide overflowing water and Gatorade. From year one of the races, Gatorade has been our partner. As much as possible, we try to have Gatorade popsicles around as well. I also created what we call Dream Chasers. These are volunteers lining the route, friendly faces who just hand out food, words of support. We're excited for you to see them. And sometimes they'll even offer massages. So the first Dream Chaser station in 2010 was actually led by Hector. He was the guy who gave me my Gatorade popsicles at QCIM. And now with your race, we have more than Dream Chasers. We also have support zone crews. These are stations where running clubs and all the people from their teams go all out to support dreamers along the course. Next slide. As the years passed, my love for running continued and even grew stronger. I ran more marathons all over the world and completed the World Marathon Majors in 2015, when not too many people had even heard of it. I didn't really do it to be popular or even to show off a 6-star marathon medal, which at the time they didn't even have. I don't think I even posted a blog or a photo of that 6-star marathon medal. It was really just to tell the young mom that had so many fears and doubts that she could do anything that she could set her mind to. That if you just dreamed big and worked hard, trained hard, and chased after your dreams, no matter how daunting and seemingly impossible they were, you could achieve them. Believe me, when I ran my first 5K, I thought it was impossible. Even a 10K or a 21K seemed impossible. 42K, way out there, but I did it. And that was the magic of the marathon for me. Had I never ran my first marathon, I don't know where I would be. That's what gave me the strength to survive a failed marriage, migrate to Vancouver with my 2 kids now, and they're here with me, finish a master's degree in my 40s. But that's a story for another day. Next slide. So I continue to run marathons now. Everything I see in races abroad, what I like, what can be put into the dream marathon, we do it. We try to make it better every year for every one of you. As I grow older, yes, we're getting old. I've added lifting heavy weights to my runs. It's great for my running. I know the importance of strength training now, and I see its outstanding benefits in my runs. I don't get injured as often anymore, and there's more power in my stride. So I added TBR Dream to TBR Dream. It's a complete package of running, strength, workouts, yoga, meditation, all designed for TBR Dreamers. Next slide. So every year, we welcome TBR Dreamers into our ever-growing family. We encourage positivity. Walang pagalingan dito, walang pabilisan, walang payabangan, please. Pwede magyabang lang konti when you accomplish a goal, share it with your batchmates. Feel free. And we don't see that as kayabangan. We will be supporting each other and lifting each other up. We invite runners also to pay it forward by volunteering as pacers in our bull sessions, dream chasers at the race, or support zone crews. We always remember that we were all beginners at one point or another. And we celebrate their love for running to people of all shapes, sizes, and of course, speeds. Doesn't matter if you're fast or slow, you're all the same. My dear dreamers, if you do not know it by now, I'll tell you this. You didn't just join a marathon, you joined the family. So welcome to TBR Dream. Welcome to the TBR community. We are so happy to have you. Next slide, please. Okay, so now let's talk about you guys. Who are you? Who is batch 2025? So our oldest runner, 67 years old. We have two youngest runners, 18 years old. And guess what? The age with the most runners is 28 years old. There's 161 of you. Unbelievable. The biggest age group are in your 30s. Okay, so mga 30s dyan, mag-mingle kayo dyan. Oops, the slides disappeared. More than half of you are actually below, are actually have been running for less than 1 year. I think, Kathy, the slides, can you share it, please? Disappeared. Anyway, more than half of you have been running for less than 1 year. So I got some messages that there are some people who are feeling a bit nervous about running less than the others, because some have been sharing that they've been running more. Okay, Kathy just messaged that naghang yung computer niya, so it's just loading. But yeah, some people have been worried that other runners have been running more than them. Don't worry at all, because 55% have actually been running for less than 1 year, and it really doesn't matter. We all encourage you to run your own race, and don't be concerned about that. Okay, and then from what I remember from my slides, it's a 50-50 split between females and males. And also, I think I will just look for my slides while Kathy's looking for.
Sige, Jamie, while you're looking
We'll
for
look
your
for my slides, and you can talk
I've been
about.
I've been actually reading through the Q&A. I've been seeing like quarter life crisis. It's really fun because they're chatting here. They've been typing in their ages, like some are 28, 30s, and then they're typing in also where they're from. So I guess they're all excited. May mga nagsasabi pang naiiyak ako. Actually, you guys, ako rin, even every time I hear this, it just gives me goosebumps. So I feel you. Okay, I think, Jamie, we're ready.
Okay. Ayan. Okay, I'm looking for my slides as well. Thanks, Chicky. There you go. So there's the slides, almost 50-50 split between male and female. Okay, Kathy, you can go to the next one. Naghang, ayan. Okay. So your marathon journey now is we have starts on September 30. So ayan, your marathon journey has been completely laid out for you. All you really need to do now is show up. So we'll have 6 sessions, 5 wall circles. If you saw the handbook, you would have seen that already. There'll be a send-off party on Feb 6 where you can claim your race kit and maybe win a Garmin at the raffle. Race day will be on Feb 16 at 2 a.m. Next slide, please. Okay, so TBRG Marathon offers you these race features growing from our community. You will experience the support of Dream Chasers, Pacers at Ball Sessions, and Support Zone crews. Our partners and sponsors offer discounts. Check out our website for discounts from Garmin, Nutrition Depot, Peak Farm, Healthway Medical Network, Runner, Tobies, and many more. You also have TBR Dream Hub. So some of you joined base camp to prepare your bodies for the marathon training. Now we'll have the 42K program along with TBR Dream Plus. Then there's also a support page there for the runners who join TBR Dream Hub. You have social media, so please go on our Facebook if you haven't yet. We have an exclusive page, and we also have an email newsletter. If you didn't opt into the newsletter during registration, you won't be receiving emails. So please, we have an opt-in in our IG, and you can do so there. Your coaches, which is myself and Coach Nyla, you can email us anytime for any training advice. Our emails are in your handbook. And at TBR, we also welcome your family into our community. At the race, we provide art materials for poster making and encourage your family to even run with you towards the finish line. Ball sessions are open to the public as well. And lastly, a portion of your race fee goes to our beneficiary, Courage to Be Kind Foundation. We're also planning with the UP Dreamers for some in-person charitable events that we can do as runners to give back to the community. If you want to join, just email me as well. Always remember that the running becomes more rewarding when you use it to serve a higher purpose. So as early as now, think of your purpose for running. Is it for a loved one? Is it to help others? Is it to raise funds for a chosen beneficiary? Just think of something else aside from you to make it more meaningful. Next slide, please. Just quick announcement. So DBR Dream Plus, I'm offering a discount, 10% discount. Use the code BULLCIRCLE10. Just go to dbrdreamhub.com. And the discount will be until the 25th, so September 25, just tonight and tomorrow, if you want to join. Okay, next slide. And we will also have TBR Dream ambassadors. For those of you who are active on social media, who want to share your journey, training for the marathon, and on race day, you're passionate about running and you want to tell your story. We had the first batch of TBR Dream ambassadors last year. We're going to have our second batch. I'll be releasing an application for that soon. You get a lot of perks and the details will all be there. Next slide, please. So before I end, I'd like to leave you with 3 things to remember. TBR. The first is trust in the process. T is for trust in the process. Change won't happen overnight. It happens in the day to day. So do not rush this. Don't compare yourself to others. Like I said, run your own race at your pace. Trust in your own timing. Okay. If someone else is running longer or faster, let them. As long as you're trying your best and you're following the program, which hundreds of runners in the past have followed their program and crossed the finish line, then you will be fine too. Take it one day at a time. B is for believe in yourself. You will have doubts. You might be questioning yourself now. What did I get myself into? You may ask yourself that also in the starting line of the race. Even in the last 10K, you may be thinking, ano ba tong ginawa ko? Or others maybe even telling you, you can't do this. But as long as you set yourself up for success and you practice good daily habits, stick to the marathon program, set a higher standard for yourself. For the next 5 months, maybe you can say no to parties or wake up earlier on weekends or find yourself a running club or a running buddy that influences you to practice healthier habits and allows you to dream big in running and in the rest of your life. Then believe also that you can do it and you will. Lastly, respect the marathon. We pull out all the stops to make this the best race and one of the most memorable moments in your life. We want you to succeed. We want you to win. Our cutoff time of hours is one of the most generous cutoff times you'll find in the world. In fact, if you walk 42 kilometers at a moderate pace, you should finish within cutoff time. Even for that, you should really be ready for the distance. A 42K is no walk in the park. You have to train for this. You have to run your long runs. Don't skip the long runs, especially the milestone distances. No one else can train for you. We cannot be doing the training for you. We will make it the best race, but you have to do the training. Eat well, hydrate well, think of food as your fuel that your body needs. Keep yourself informed of race updates. Immerse yourself fully in the experience of this race because this will only happen once in your lifetime. Train hard as you can, and the race will just be icing on the cake. So TBR, trust, believe, and respect. Thank you, TBR Dream Marathoners. That ends my presentation. See you soon.
Thank you so much, Coach Jamie. As always, very inspiring. We have a very active Q&A box here. They've been saying where they're from. Yan, ang daming claps. Can we see some run emojis there? It's unique. So it's just the first time for me to see. That's why it's really fun to see. Yeah. All right. So before we proceed with the bull circle, I've mentioned earlier that we will be giving away prizes. So you guys have to stick around. If you can use the Q&A box for this. Okay. So the first one to type in the correct answer will win a TBR visor. You can claim your prize at the first bull session happening this Saturday from Kathy. So that's going to be this coming Saturday. The question is, sige, what's our question? Baka pabilisan na naman ang pag-type to. What was Jamie's first accidental marathon? She shared that. If you guys were listening, what was Jamie's first accidental marathon? Uy, I don't know, ang bilis. Kathy, if you can help me out. Is it Janine Oralio? I think she was the first one to type in the correct answer. So Janine Oralio, congratulations. You've won your TBR visor. You can claim it from Kathy during this Saturday's bull session. So see you there. All right. So now as we move on, just a few reminders. Personal Pacer registration opened a few days ago. Runners who would like to run with Pacers can uh, have their own personal pacer. So please visit our website or social media pages for that. We will also be emailing you about this soon. In the interest of time, let's reserve our Q&A for all our three speakers at the end of the session. Kathy will be collecting your questions. I've also already seen some questions in the Q&A, so we will be taking note of those questions and answer them if we can still, of course, later on. All right. So before we introduce our next speaker, we have a special message from our title sponsor, InLife. Their Vice President and Branding and Communications Head, Mr. Romel Panabi, would like to show you this video message. If you can play the video for us, please, Kathy. Thank you.
Magandang araw to our dream runners. Are you all excited to jumpstart your preparation for the big event? InLife shares your excitement. Like most of you, this is our first time to be part of the Bold Runner Dream Marathon. We may be a newbie in running marathons, but not when it comes to guiding Filipinos in their life journey. InLife applies over 100 years of experience in health protection, savings, investments, and retirement to help Filipinos lead a lifetime for good. This is only our first session, but allow me to congratulate all of you for taking this big step to fulfill your health goals. And may this first 42-kilometer run inspire you to chase more health goals and bigger dreams to achieve your life goals.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Romel Panabi, for that inspiring message. Do we already have our next speaker here? All right. Okay. So, all right. For our next speaker for tonight, I would like to introduce you to our lead coach for the Bull Sessions. She is a running coach of the Adidas Runners Manila, a World Triathlon Coach Level 2, an Ironman athlete, and of course, a two-time TBR Dream Marathon alumna. We would like to welcome Coach Naila.
Everyone. I wonder if you could hear me.
Oops. There's Coach Lala and Coach. Oh, Coach Lit disappeared again. Okay, there's Coach Lala. Oh, there.
Hello.
Do we
Lit-
do I
I'm
start
here.
with Coach Lit?
Coach. Okay, Coach Lit is there. Sorry, Coach Lala. Mauna na muna si Coach Lit.
Sige. We'll have Coach Lit first. Sorry, we've been
Thanks,
having
Coach
some
Lala.
technical problems. So yeah, based on schedule, of course, no stranger to us, we would like to introduce our next speaker, our principal coach for over 10 years. He is the TBR Dream Beginner to Marathon Program Designer, Chi Running and Walking Certified Instructor, TBR Dream Marathon alumnus, and of course, marathoner. I'd like to welcome Coach Lit Onrubia. Coach Lit, hello.
Chiggy. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here with everyone once again. I noticed that there are over 700 people attending this webinar today, and just absolutely happy to see that. Absolutely happy to welcome all of you to TBR 2025. Um, I have a few things to say, and hopefully it will inspire you to as you start this journey and as you cross that finish line. Chicky, next slide, please. All right. So I want to start off with this quote from Joe Henderson, who's one of the famed running writers for Runner's World and other publications from back in the day. I want to start with this because I think this captures most how I feel about the marathon and what I like most about the marathon. Quote, you can never be sure. That's what makes the marathon both fearsome and fascinating. The deeper you go into the unknown, the more uncertain you become. But then you finish and you wonder later, how did I do that? This question compels you to keep making the journey from the usual to the magical. So that really, for me, is what the marathon is all about. And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, that feeling that Joe Henderson talks about actually never goes away. I've done quite a few of these marathons, and each and every time, there's still always that uncertainty, that doubt, and then eventually, as you finish, that sense of victory and accomplishment. Um, it's always fascinating for me to hear Jamie's story on how she came to be a runner and to a marathoner, and now obviously the person behind the Dream Marathon. I've heard that talk many, many times because obviously me and Jamie are very close. She's one of my closest friends. But I laugh because our journeys are completely different. My journey to running and to marathoning can't be more opposite from what Jamie just shared. Started running in 1995 only because as I was getting a little bit older and starting to work, it was harder to get 10 of my friends together to play basketball. Back in my 20s, the only way he'd get me to run is if I was dribbling a basketball and there was a basketball hoop at the end. For me, there was no other point to running, if not within the game of basketball. But as we got older, as I couldn't play anymore because people were getting busy with their lives, I decided that I wanted to stay fit. Uh, it actually took me from 1995 to 2010, it took me 15 years for me to run a marathon because at that time, it didn't occur to me. It didn't occur to me that you could continue to go longer and longer and longer. And that was actually a scary but good goal to have until I met Jamie in 2009. And since then, it's been an adventure. And I'm very happy to support all of you in this 2025 Dream Marathon. Next slide, please. I will briefly talk to you now about the run walk method and the four biggest reasons why, in my opinion, you should strongly consider it. It's not a must for everyone. Some people may not be comfortable doing the run walk method, but hear me out. Let me tell you four things about it and why I strongly encourage it and how it can help make your marathon day better, stronger, and even more memorable. Number one, the way my brain works is that when I'm faced with a challenge or a puzzle, as it were, the very first question I ask myself is, how can I simplify this challenge? How can I make it easier? Um, and to me, the run walk method is maybe not the only answer on how to simplify the challenge of the marathon, but to me, it's one of the best answers, right? The run walk method allows you to take a huge piece, 42 kilometers, something bigger than almost any of you have ever seen, and then break it up into smaller pieces that you challenge one at a time. And as you progress from part one to part two to part three and eventually to part 42, before you know it, you've conquered the challenge and you've figured it out. To me, that's the biggest reason why I do the run walk method. Number two, energy conservation. 42 kilometers is a long time to be on your feet. For almost all of you on race day, from the time that you wake up to the time that you cross that finish line, you'll probably be on your feet for 7 to 9 hours. That is a very, very long time. And to me, if there is a way that I can conserve energy in pockets throughout that entire duration, then I'll absolutely take it, right? And the run walk method absolutely does that. By taking walk breaks, by giving your body brief periods of rest, you delay the onset of fatigue, and in a way, you're saving gas in your tank to help you cross the finish line. Reason number three, recovery. Not a lot of people know that the muscles that we use for running are slightly different from the muscles that we use for walking, right? Obviously, it's lower body dominant. Obviously, you use your legs, you have to maintain your posture, you have to use your posterior chain, etc. But there are slight differences. And when you give your running muscles brief breaks, by taking walk breaks, you allow your running muscles to recover, right? Taking walk breaks might not seem like a long recovery, but if you accumulate that and you do it over and over again over the course of a marathon, it actually makes a huge difference. And last but not the race, number 4, and perhaps out of the 4, this is my favorite. Doing the run walk method allows you to control the race instead of having the race control you. We've seen it many times. I'm sure those of you who've spent quite a bit of time running know the feeling, right? You know the difference between having a great run and having an awful run. And more than the pace or the time or the distance, typically the difference between a great run and an awful run is how you felt during that run and how much control you had. When we overexert and when we run beyond our means to the point of exhaustion, that's never a good feeling. And that's when the road, the distance, the time takes over you. But so during those magical days when you control the race, when every kilometer feels easy, the end of the run feels like it wasn't too bad, and you can go maybe even 1 or 2 kilometers more, when you can run fast when you want, you can slow down when you want, when you have everything under control, those are the magical days. And doing the run walk method, in my opinion, increases your chances of being able to control your race and your experience. Next slide, please. On the next slide, I'll be talking about the run walk method and how to execute it properly. Again, there are 4 things I want to say about proper execution. I'll start from the left and I'll move over to the right. Number 1, do it early and regularly. Some people have said, well, can I sort of like modify the run walk method where I run as much as I can until to the point where I start to feel tired and then start my walk breaks? And the answer is very simple. The answer is yes, you can do it that way, but I wouldn't recommend it, right? If you go back to the principles of um, energy conservation and recovery that we were talking about in the previous slide, when you delay taking walk breaks and when you delay getting into the rhythm of the run walk early, it just sort of like limits its effectiveness as a technique. So I would recommend that if you are going to do the run walk method, uh, do it from the start of the race, do it early, and do it as regularly as you can, um, to sort of like maximize the compounding effect that the walk breaks give you, right? Uh, Tip to execution number 2, walk mindfully. Um, I guess my biggest contribution as a running instructor is to be able to emphasize the importance of proper running form and proper walking form. Just like anything in life, there are easy ways to do things and there are difficult ways to do things. In my opinion, when you run with the right posture, it just makes moving your body so much easier, so much more efficient and injury free. However, don't forget that proper posture, the principles of good form apply to walking as well. A lot of people, when they take their walk breaks, you see their entire posture collapse. They walk lazily, they walk in a slouched, heavy manner. I want you to keep note of that, right? Because how you walk and how you maintain your posture, even while recovering during the walk breaks, has a positive effect on your run walk intervals. Tip number 3: rest, focus, and reset as much as you can. The walk breaks are perfect opportunities for you to take stock of what you just did. So I encourage all of you, start practicing and get into the mind space of looking forward to the walk breaks. And during the walk break, use it as an opportunity to reset everything. Control your cardio, slow down your heart rate, relax the body, walk And don't even worry about how fast you're walking. Don't worry about pace. Just focus on recovery, recovery, recovery. Because even if the walk breaks are just a matter of seconds, if you reset both mentally and physically, it actually sets you up not only for the next segment to come, but for the entire race. And tip number 4, last but not least, be smart and know your red line, right? Uh, Even if I've been doing the run walk method for many, many years and many, many races, anywhere from a 10K to a marathon, I always do the run walk. I almost never run all the way. There are still many times when I don't do it smartly. I ignore my red line and I pay the price. Many times when you feel good, and typically all of us feel good in the first 10K, right? All of us feel wonderful. We look at our watch, the pace is good, and you're thinking, oh my God, maybe I can PR. Maybe I can beat my target time by 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. If I could just keep this up, I'll be okay. And ignoring the fact that you're actually expending more energy than you should. I've experienced that many, many times, and I've paid for it. There have been many races. I can't even tell you how many, and I'm almost ashamed to admit this. Where during the first half of the race, I was ahead of schedule, I was ahead of pace, I was feeling good, and I was expecting a PR or a fantastic finish time. But then I eventually pushed myself too much, and in the last 25 to 30% of the race, that's when I pay for it. I slow down more than I should. I end up doing more walks than I do, and I just generally suffer. Uh, and that's when I get to realize again, not that I always listen to it kasi matigas ang ulo, but that's when I realize again that it's very, very important to know all our limits, to know your safe zones, to know your red lines, and to make sure that you're not consistently crossing your red line. Because, and I hate to say this, but again, as those of you who've been running know, there is always a price to pay when you push beyond what you train for. Next slide, please. So I will end with just 3 general tips, and we'll just go from there, right? Tip number 1, understand how we recover. A lot of people don't realize that 75% of the recovery during a walk break happens during the first 30 seconds, right? That is so important to know that I'm going to repeat it. 75% of your recovery happens during the first 30 seconds of your walk break. And this is precisely the reason why, again, some people have asked me, okay, let's say I commit to a 3-1 run walk interval, meaning 3 minutes of running, 1 minute of walking. Is that the same as, say, running for 6 minutes and then taking a 2-minute walk break? Because the ratio is still the same. It's still 3-1. And the answer there is absolutely not. It's not the same. Okay? Because given the fact that the way our body works is that the majority of your recovery happens on the front end of your walk break. When you take more walks, meaning you run for 6 minutes and walk for 2 minutes, that actually has diminishing returns. And you're not actually benefiting from the recovery that you could be benefiting as much as if you just stuck to 3 minutes running, 1 minute walking, right? So even during those times of exhaustion and tiredness, I will tell you, right? Don't panic, gather yourself, and understand that even if you take shorter walk breaks, let's say, you can no longer do 3 minutes run, 1 minute walk. You need to cut it down to 2 minutes running because that's all you can do. That's perfectly fine. You can do 2 minutes running, 1 minute walking, 2 minutes running, 30 seconds walking, 1 minute running, 30 seconds walking. As long as you take those 30 seconds, there are recovery benefits to it, right? So again, not all run walk breaks are created equally. It doesn't mean that you can run long and then walk long and it's the same thing. It's actually not, right? So that's tip number 1. Next slide, please. Tip number 2. And this is something which I learned much later in my running experience, and I hope I learned it much sooner. Nutrition is crucial, um, and it's actually something that you need to practice as well. There are links that I provided on this slide that I hope Chicky can just share with everyone through social media or through the TBR site later on. But don't ever forget that when you're out there running for that far and that long, it's not only a matter of endurance, it also becomes a matter of nutrition. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is to understand how much carbs your body needs in order to sustain you for a marathon. And I'm sure Coach Jamie and Coach Lala can talk more about this and go into a little bit more detail. But I'll end this tip by saying that our nutritional needs are different depending on your weight, your body type, your experience, etc. Uh, and it takes practice. But it is absolutely crucial. And I've seen many hundreds, thousands of people unable to perform at their best during race day because they didn't practice and they didn't zero in on their nutritional needs during a marathon, right? So, very, very important. Um, it's a big percentage of your success during race day. So, pay attention to your nutrition and most importantly, practice it during your practice runs. And last but not least, tip number three, uh, and this is my favorite, find a group to train with. I can't emphasize enough how important this is. This is life changing, this is experience changing, and it makes all the difference in your TBR marathon journey. Like I said, Jamie and I met in 2008, 2009. We quickly found a group of friends to train with. And that group of friends has been through everything and has gone everywhere. And I am 100% sure that all of us wouldn't have been able to go through those long training days without each other. Training with a group lifts you and inspires you and makes you accountable in ways that are undescribable. So no matter where you are, right? Whether you're in Manila, whether you're in Cebu, whether you're in Naga, Iloilo, wherever you are, my biggest advice to you is to find a training group of like-minded individuals, hopefully TBR dreamers, and just train together. And those of you already with a training group, please open up your group and invite other people to join you. Because I'm sure there are many of us out there who don't have a training group for one reason or another, right? Um, but this is now your community. And as your community, I hope you open it up to each other and you help each other. Um, Hear me now, believe me later, training with a group will make all the difference in your life. Last slide, please. And before I end, I just want to say that I've been with Jamie and I've been with the Dream Marathon now since the beginning for many, many years. And I still remember that day when she told me, hey, I'm thinking of doing a marathon. Uh, I don't know yet how it's going to be. I don't know yet where it's going to be, but I'm thinking of doing it. And I said, absolutely, sign me up if and when that day happens. And that day happened. And believe it or not, 15 years later, I'm still here. I'm not on social media, but if any of you have any questions, concerns, um, looking for answers to questions that you have, please feel free to email me. I'm very easy to find, lit.anubi@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to answer any and all of your questions and try to help guide you as best as I can. Thanks for the opportunity, Jamie, Chicky. Nice seeing all of you again. Best of luck to all the dreamers for 2025. I look forward to your success, and I'll be here every step of the way.
Thank you so much, Coach Lit. As always, very inspiring. I still recall the time that I was also training for my first marathon with TBR Dream, of course. And I joined you in your pace group. I think that was 3-1. Because I'd always want to be joining where you are in the pace group. But anyway, thank you very much, Coach Lit. So as we've done in the previous talk with Coach Jamie, we'd also have a question for everyone. So the first one to type in the correct answer in our Q&A box will get a 500 peso GC from Runner or Toby's. So you can still claim your prize at the Bull Session 1 with Kathy at the info booth, similar to how we did it the first time. Now, the question is, at the first part of Coach Lit's talk, he mentioned 4 things on why you should do the run walk method. So if you can just mention one out of those 4. The first one to type in the correct answer wins the 500 GC from Runner Toby's. La, ayan. We have, I think, oh my gosh, so many people typing in their correct answers. Control is from Kara Suleiman. Congratulations, Kara Suleiman. You may claim your 500 GC from Kathy on Saturday at the Bull Session 1. Thank you again, Coach Lit. All right, for our next and last speaker for tonight, I've introduced her already earlier, but for those who probably just joined in, she is the running coach of Adidas Runners Manila, World Triathlon Coach Level 2, Ironman athlete, and a 2-time TBR Dream Marathon alumna. We'd like to welcome again Coach Nyla. Hi, Coach.
Hello and good evening to everyone. I'm the lead coach of the Bull Runner Dream Marathon. I'm going on my 3rd year, and I tell you, it's such a great time seeing all the dreamers cross the finish line and seeing all the smiles in the first timers do their first marathon with TBR. So for today's session, we'll cover the fundamentals of marathon training so we can ensure that you start your journey in TBR on the right foot. Okay, so can I just have a raise of hands who are in this group first timers? Show an emoticon or something. Oh, there you go. How about second timers? Oh, here a lot. Oh, great, great. So we would like to welcome you on my next slide, please. That's so good. On my next slide, please. Okay, so everyone raised their hand for the first timer and second timers over here. We would like to welcome batch 2025. You are 2,000 runners strong. So we're so excited because it's becoming bigger and better. So, but after signing up for TBR, what happens next? Right? So, for this couple of minutes, we would like to emphasize the importance of proper training. So, we will ensure that you will cross the finish line strong and happy. So after signing up, you have to think, why did I even sign up for this? I hope you're signing up for the right reasons, not just you got boodled, as they call it, by a friend or you're just influenced by someone else. So I hope you're running for the right reasons because a marathon is more than just signing up. You really have to train for it. And we're here with you every step of the way. Okay. To the next. And for at this point, I would like to share with you, and I hope you find your reasons why do you have to run a marathon. Because for me, I was dealing with grieving for the loss of a loved one, and I found running as a source of also meditation and a way to cope with grieving. So I hope you find the right reasons also to run a marathon because I tell you it's going to change your life and you're going to have newfound friends. It's going to make an impact in your overall health being. So these are the reasons I hope you can find also your why That why do you have to run a marathon? Because of so many benefits. We have physical benefits. It improves your cardiovascular health, weight management, and overall fitness. And running a marathon can boost your mental resilience. It's about mental health. It can reduce stress, and it can increase your confidence. And especially for the first timers, crossing the finish line brings a profound sense of achievement, no matter what your time. Running a marathon is also can be a way to give back to the community, to charity. Many runners use marathons to raise money for a cause or raise money for someone close to their hearts. And I want you to embrace the long-term benefits of training beyond just race day and appreciate the journey that comes along with it. So here are the tips that you can take away with you as you train properly for your marathon. First tip that we have, you have to start training with the right mindset. First, you have to set realistic goals. What do you want after that 42K? Do you want just to finish? Especially for the first timers, that's a major goal. And for the second timers, do you want to PR? That's also a great goal. Whether your goal is just to simply finish or run a faster time, you have to set short-term and long-term goals that are essential. For example, for the short term, of course, you have to start with short distances, 5 to 10K, before you even have the long-term goal of running a 42. So I suggest if you have that long-term goal to run 42K in the next 20 weeks, you have to break it down into weekly goals, to mini goals that you can achieve, and later on you will see the benefits of that after the 20 weeks. You have to believe and trust yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So you have to trust the training process, as mentioned by the coaches earlier, and your ability to get stronger as the weeks come by. And you have to also equip yourself with positive mantras, because there are dark days in the training when you don't want to get up in the morning and train. So you have to really do self-talk to stay mentally focused. The right mindset will help you overcome challenges and setbacks along the way. The second tip that I have is you have to respect the distance. This was mentioned by Coach Lit and Coach Jamie a while ago. Hence, you have to follow the TBR training plan. Runners, you are very lucky that your race kit is equipped with two training plans. We have the beginner 1 and the beginner 2. And not many races in the world provide training plans. So please maximize the training plan that's with you. You can choose over the two. And you have to really respect the distance. Hence, you have to train. You have to follow the plan, because a well-structured training plan is key to achieving your marathon goal. If you want also some guidance in terms of you want to take your running further or a one-on-one session, you have to get a certified coach to help you out. And as mentioned earlier by Coach Lit and Coach Jamie, you have to join a running group. And what a best way to start with TBR community. Hence, I hope to see all of you this Saturday in this coming first bull session. The next one. The next item I have is the endurance training. You have to think that you have to spend time on your feet. Hence, the endurance is the foundation of marathon training. Without endurance, without this cornerstone, completing the 42 kilometers is impossible. So you really have to spend time on your feet, and you have to attend the bull sessions that we have. We have 6 bull sessions that we have prepared for you, and we hope to see you perfect attendance in all those 6. In terms of training frequency, the marathon training plans has schedules of runs 3 to 4 times a week based on time. So hope that you can schedule it right away, because life gets in the way, and then you have work, you have family, you have other priorities. So I suggest to please plan ahead. In terms of the building endurance, I also recommend that there should be a gradual progression of mileage over time. Don't rush the process. Follow the plan because it increases mileage, I think 10% every week or every 2 weeks. So follow that to avoid injury and also to enjoy the journey. I just want to leave a note also that as you do endurance training, it takes 21 days to build a habit, and it takes 90 days to build a lifestyle. So start doing good habits starting now. Okay, now apart from the endurance training, apart from spending time on your feet, these are also ways that you have to take note so you can run stronger and also injury free. Now, I'd like to also highlight the importance of strength and cross training. We have the TBR Plus that's hosted by Coach Dame Jamie. So I highly suggest that you take that because in strength and cross training, the strong muscles mean less injury risk and more running efficiency. As you do the mileage from past experiences, we have seen runners that have been encountering injuries like ITB syndrome, shin splints, and runner's knee, all due to the mileage accumulation. Hence, when you include strength training, you can prevent that because you have stronger muscles that are ready for pounding on the road. So key strength exercises such as core, legs, and stabilizing muscles that can prepare you for longer runs and also longer time on your feet. Now, if you're not feeling, if you're just kind of tired from running, you can also include strength training, which is like swimming, cycling, yoga, as a way to stay active while giving the body a break from running. Okay. So because strength and cross training matters, strong muscles, you will have strong muscles, and that would mean less injury and more running efficiency. On the next slide. Okay, after our strength and cross training, this is very, very important. So runners, please take note. Recovery and rest. Rest is not a sin. You won't get weak when you rest. When you rest, recovery is where you get stronger. Hence, rest days are really crucial as part of your training. Remember that adequate rest allows the body to repair and adapt to the training that you've been doing for the past weeks. It also gives you time to the rest days will avoid burnout and it will avoid injury as well because a properly rested body can allow you to perform better on the next day. Now, these are the proper recovery techniques for you to have effective recovery. Don't forget to sleep 7 to 8 hours prior to any training days. And it would be good if you can have 7 to 8 hours sleep every day to prepare you for the priorities and the duties for the day. And after the run, if it's a long run, don't forget to foam roll, have a massage, and we'll be doing this together before any runs. We will have our dynamic stretching, we will have our dynamic activations before our runs, and we will also have our proper cool down after our runs. The next tip that I have is, it was mentioned earlier, we have to eat right. We have to be fueling our training. On the next slide, please. All right. We have with us Gatorade and Nutrition Depot as partners that you can, and they will be guiding you along the way. They will give you tips in detail into properly fuel your training as well as your racing. It was mentioned earlier that what you eat fuels your runs. What you eat directly impacts your training performance. So we have to emphasize here, you have to eat in moderation. It's a combination of carbs, fats, and proteins. Any deficiency in one area will also lead to an effect in terms of performance. But just a friendly reminder, because some of us, we just do like an hour of run, but we eat like we have run for 4 hours or we have finished a 42K. So we also have to be mindful of that because you can't really out exercise a bad diet. So start looking at your diet this time because that will play a crucial role in your training. Okay, during our bowl sessions, we will have Gatorade to properly hydrate you during the runs, and also experiment with other nutrition strategies as such as gels or other solids that you can take in, or your preferred nutrition to really accomplish and to fuel you on the long runs. That goes for our fueling. So we have trained our body, we have done strength training, we have discussed our fueling. Now, how about training your mind? And also choosing the right gear, by the way. So before we train our mind, you have to prepare as early as now, before Saturday. You have to choose the right gear. We have Adidas as our partner gear for TBR for the past years. So as a reminder, if you have preferred shoes, your running shoes should provide adequate support and cushioning to prevent injury. We have different kinds of feet and different composition as well. So I suggest to get a running gait analysis or a foot analysis that's available in other stores, that so you can properly choose what is best for you, whether you're a neutral, you're pronator, or overpronator. There are so many shoes available out there that can offer stability and have the perfect fit for your feet. And in terms of clothing, we have our official TBR shirt that you can use for training. I love that. And for the succeeding training sessions, clothing should be lightweight, breathable, moisture wicking to keep you comfortable during your long runs. And because proper shoes and clothing can make all the difference when it comes to performance and comfort. So if they say when you can't perform, jaforms, right? But I tell you, the proper combination of good gears will really boost your performance. After choosing our right gear, we have mentioned that we have to train our body. You also have to train your mind in the weeks to come. You have 20 weeks to do this kind of training and to prepare for your first or second marathon. And you will need to train your mind as well, because mental toughness is what will get runners to the toughest smiles, toughest days, especially when the fatigue sets in. In my opinion, the marathon starts after the 21K. That's when you feel all the aches, or the mind plays tricks on you. So you have to really prepare your mind for this very long day. So there are so many ways to stay mentally strong. One of which is you have to picture yourself crossing the finish line. You have to do positive self-talk. Remind yourself of your strengths and accomplishments during tough moments. You have to be present in each run rather than worrying about the entire race. You have to be present in each kilometer rather than counting how many kilometers I should do. So you will all build this confidence as you attend our bowl sessions, and as you progress in your training and as your mileage increases. So as I end my presentation, I'd like to leave you final thoughts that can help you. So we have 20 weeks together to train. We have 6 bowl sessions wherein I get to meet all of you and hear your stories and hopefully guide you in all of your questions. And as we go along together, I dare you to train for a marathon and not have it change your life. This is said by Susan Sidoriak. And I highly believe that by the end of the season, the TBR Dream Marathon will change you. So during the weeks that we're gonna see each other, the runs will change you physically, mentally, and emotionally. So I really recommend that you have to do proper training, because the journey of training might be challenging, but the reward is really immensely gratifying. So I encourage you to embrace every moment of the training, from the easy days to the difficult ones, because each step of that is part of your growth. So altogether, TBR Batch 2025, you've got the tools and the mindset to succeed. Always trust the process and enjoy the journey. I'll see you all this Saturday.
Thank you so much, Coach Lala. Before I ask a question and give a prize, I know that some of you have been typing your questions already in our chat box. I know Lit mentioned earlier, apart from the Japorms, may comment si Lit kanina na Japorms, magaling si Jamie. Meron siyang comment doon. Pero maraming nagtanong earlier. But the most recent one is actually a question for you, Coach Lit. For days that we cannot run outside due to rains, will a run-walk training on a treadmill have the same results as with run-walk outdoors in terms of endurance?
Thank you for asking that very important question, Chiki. And Jamie will know my answer to this. I love the treadmill. I have trained for entire marathons, 80% of the time on a treadmill. So the answer is unequivocally yes. The treadmill will give you just the same benefits as running outdoors does.
Thank you, Coach Lit. Another question, I think this is also for you. When planning your run walk, how do you set time? Like running and walking? Is it heart rate based?
Thanks for the question. No. I mean, it's actually very simple. You really just look at your watch. The Garmin watches now, you can pre-program. You can pre-program your run intervals and your walk intervals. But it's really just figuring out how many minutes of running you want to put in before you take your walk break. And I know there are some people who've asked what's the proper or what's the right run walk interval for me. I will give you an answer that Jeff Galloway himself told us. We had the pleasure, Jamie and I had the pleasure of meeting Jeff himself. And as some of you may know, Jeff is sort of like the creator of the run walk method. And he pretty much told us that the 3-1 interval is perhaps the interval that fits the most people. The only reason or the only time that you should be considering anything more than 3-1, maybe a 4-1 or a 5-1, is if you can run a half marathon in about 2 hours and 7 minutes or below. If you can't run a half marathon in 2:07 or below, stick to 3-1 or even 2-1.
And just to add for all the runners who don't know, in our first bull session on Saturday with Coach Lala, she's going to give a workshop on proper form, proper technique. And then after that, when we do run the 30 minutes, we have pace groups, and all our pace groups will be based on the run intervals. So there's going to be a 4-1, 2 to 3 groups of 4-1s, 3-1s, 2-1s, and 1-1s. We can help you figure it all out when we're there, because all of this can be a bit confusing for now, but very theoretical. So the practice portion will be at the bull session as well.
Thank you, Coach Jamie. Yeah, I think most of the questions here are about the beginner to program. I think there might be knowing it really when they attend the bull session this coming Saturday. All right. Just one last, perhaps. Is it okay if I don't do speed sessions? I mostly just do uphill runs. Any of the coaches can answer that.
So I'll start quickly. TBR Dream Marathon, we do not focus on speed. Our goal for you is really to get you to the finish line. You can think about your PR or your speed goals with your second marathon or your third or your fourth. There's a lot of time for that. But our training, we really focus on getting you to the finish line with a smile on your face, preferably. Okay, so there's that, as you saw the training in your handbook, there's no speed sessions. Coach Lit and Coach Lala, you may want to talk about it more.
the training plan, it was highlighted there on the gradual buildup of mileage. So it doesn't really highlight, there are different kinds of training sessions for run, but we made it really friendly for beginners. And so you won't be so intimidated. You just have to run based on time. And the run walk method will surely get you to the finish line. So concentrate on that and don't be pressured to go for speed. Just spend time on your feet.
And lastly, can I just add one thing about the run walk method? I think some people have this idea that run walk, oh, that's going to slow me down. Or all the TBR finishers who do run walk will probably finish 7-8 hours. No, do not think that at all. Like Jeff Galloway practiced the run walk method and he would finish at, I'm not sure, Coach Lit, correct me if I'm wrong, but he would do sub 3-hour marathons with the run walk. Right? Coach Let and I ourselves have done run walk. And there was a time we had the California International Marathon. We started at the same time. He did run walk. Forgot your interval, Coach Lit. Was it 8-1? 4-1. So Coach Lit did a 4-1 from beginning to end. Run 4 minutes, walk 1 minute. He followed that to the letter. I finished the race telling him I ran all the way. It was the first marathon where I didn't even stop at all. And I was so proud of myself. But guess who finished first? It was him. Just by a few seconds, I think. No, a few minutes. But still, Coach Lit finished earlier than me using the run walk interval. So yeah, we really are believers in run walk and we do recommend it for TBRG Marathon.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Lala. If I could also just give one tip, and I fully agree with everything that you've said. I'll actually give two tips because there have been questions about varying the training, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Number one, the way that the training program's been set up, there's been very little fat built into it, meaning please, please, please try to stick to the program as much as you can. Because it's a program which will definitely get you to the finish line, but it also requires discipline and also requires dedication to following it. Because, like I said, there's not a lot of allowance that we built into it for people who aren't able to follow the program. So that's number one. And number two, more than varying the types of runs, and I think Jamie and Lala have spoken about this as well. If there's one thing, just one thing that I could change, if I could turn back the clock and go back to my younger self, I would supplement my running with strength training. That just makes all the difference. So to me, if you're looking to mix things up, add to your running program, just do strength training.
Thank you so much, coaches. Every time I hear you, I am inspired to do another marathon. But anyway, okay. So I guess just one last question, of course, for our dreamers, similar to how we did earlier. The winner will get 1,000 GC from Adidas. Okay. So Coach Lala mentioned 8 tips. And then there were a lot of emojis popping out when she said you cannot out exercise a bad diet. What was that tip? Blank your training. So what was the blank in that tip that Coach Nyla mentioned in one of her tips? The first one to type in the correct answer. Oh, we have the first one is hold on. I guess that's Maria Erin Ramos. Maria Erin Ramos, congratulations. You may claim your 1,000 GC from Adidas this coming Saturday at the Bull Session with Kathy at the info booth. All right. So thank you, everyone, for coming. Of course, thank you to all our coaches. Thank you, Coach Jamie. Thank you, Coach Tit. And thank you, Coach Nyla. See you all on Saturday for Bull Session 1. Coach Jamie will be flying from Vancouver for all of you. And Coach Nyla will guide us through basic running form and techniques before we run. So see you all dreamers this coming Saturday. It's going to be in Invest City. Watch out for more details in our FB group or via email. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Bye. Thanks, everyone.